this one, we're just gonna do this from behind the wheel because, well, two reasons really. The first off is that this is the GR86 and you probably don't really care much about creature comforts and amenities. You care what this thing is like from behind the wheel. The second reason is because it's extraordinarily windy today. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. It's like 70 degrees and glorious, but there's a fair amount of wind. So let's stay behind the wheel and see what this thing's all about. What is going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I am behind the wheel of the 2022 Toyota GR86. All right, so let's get kind of the nitty gritty out of the way first. This is a GR86 Premium, which you can get this stripped down under 30 grand. In fact, you can get it probably after destination somewhere about the 28 range. This one's a premium one though, and I personally kind of prefer this one simply because you can get the 18-inch wheels, you can get the sweet looking duckbill spoiler, and you can get the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which are not cheap tires. So to me, this one is around 32-ish, but you can get it for 31, and I'll tell you why it's 32-ish in a second, and you won't be happy. You won't be happy. But if you get the premium with the manual transmission, that 32 is a sweet spot, and I adore the way that this thing looks. I've seen it in pictures, and I thought it looked fine. I thought it was a good improvement on the old BRZ and GT 86, formerly FR-S, you know. When I saw this thing in person, in this color, which is called Track B Red, for track bread, I was just smitten with it. Maybe it's my affinity for the color torch red on the Corvette, which my Corvette is, because this color kind of reminds me of that. It's like this super bright, almost orangey red, but oh my God, this thing is good looking. I just love the way that this little car looks. Except the taillights, not a big fan of those. But the proportions, the little haunches, the headlights, the running lights, it is just, I think, a stunning little car. All right, we're turning on to the handling road right now. We're gonna sort of see how this thing does because this rides pretty stiff, okay? It might not be Veloster in back braking stiff, but this first section, yeah, I mean, it's doing better than I thought. Body control's great. The thing I will say is it's not harsh. It's never harsh. It doesn't like rattle your teeth. I think the Veloster N borders on harsh. Ooh, there was a Mach-E GT. That's a good looking car in white. But this thing it's not messing around. This thing is meant for handling. It feels so alive. I don't mind the liveliness in the suspension because it just sort of shows what this chassis is all about. This thing is all about handling. The front end and the rear end feel like playful and responsive. The rear end especially, which obviously these cars are known for. Here's the big bump, let's take it. Not bad, not bad. That impact coming up was a little bit tough, but I think it is perfectly fine. Livable. Yes, livable. Definitely livable. I wouldn't say that it's comfortable, but I also wouldn't say that it's overly harsh. So you kind of have to drive it. I would definitely drive it if you're not sure, just to be on the safe side to make sure that you felt that you could live with this car every day. I feel like I could, but I have a short commute and the roads in the south are pretty, well maintained compared to the north. So I would be okay with this, but I would definitely take a test drive because it is firm. All right, it is firm. Now, this car has a 2.4 liter flat 4 boxer style engine, making 228 horsepower and now 184 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you didn't know, the old one made about 20 to 30-ish, less in both measurements than this one, and it was noticeably slower and had kind of a weird torque curve. They go into more detail about that on the Throttle House review, so check that out. But this model feels noticeably more peppy and responsive. It accelerates in sort of a linear fashion. It's exciting, it's fast enough. You got a 0 to 60 time of like just under 6 seconds, which any car that hits 60 under 6 feels quick on its feet, if not, fast at times. I would say up until about 40 to 50 miles an hour, this thing feels genuinely quick. After that, you can sort of feel the smallness of the engine. The magic here is that this car weighs just over 2,800 pounds, which if you're not really aware of what cars weigh, that is not a lot. That is a very lightweight vehicle by today's standards. And you just notice it right away with the way this thing steers, with the way it handles, with the way it feels on the road. It just feels like there's so much less mass moving around. It's just so much more eager and aggressive, and it's just so exciting. It's an extremely exciting car to drive, even though you're not dealing with an insane amount of power. It's not exciting like an EV vehicle that goes 0 to 60 in like 1 second. It's exciting in like it cares about giving you the experience of driving. Now, we're gonna talk about this in a second, but this car being around 32-ish, it has some interesting competition. So the aforementioned Veloster N, if you hold the options in check, comes in right around that, about 33 mid, but it has a nicer interior, better infotainment. It's got some plus sides, not to mention it's a hatchback and has a more usable back seat. This thing has a back seat, but it's really just a parcel shelf. It's not really a back seat for human beings. Then you have the Volkswagen GTI, which sort of covers the gamut of what this car is offered, high 20s to low 30s, and is way, way more useful than this car. I mean, you have a really usable back seat and hatchback space, but the driving experience is probably not even remotely the same. As good as the GTI is, this is a rear-wheel drive sports car. Then you have the Honda Civic Si, which undercuts this car by quite a bit, is less powerful, but comes with a slick shifting manual transmission, just like this car, and has a fully functional kind of usability. It's a 4-door sedan with a big trunk. Now, those all might make more rational sense, right? But what happens when we dive into the sort of base brain stem lizard part of the brain that just wants experience, that just wants to feel alive? What happens when we go there?
Clever girl.
Well, to put it simply, there's nothing else really like this car. It's like a little dog. It's like, let's go. Like I just threw the ball or the stick and it's like, pew, like it's taking off after them. And you might have noticed something. Let me address this. When I just did that, both of my hands were on the wheel. Yeah, so this tester has the 6-speed automatic, and it is styled to look like a manual transmission, and that enrages me for some reason. Like someone's faking it, so if you look through the window of the car, it looks like it's a manual transmission. And I want to punch that person in the face, whoever decided to do that. Like you're faking it has a manual. What kind of a loser would do something like that? I mean, honestly, you have to be a monumental moron to think that anybody
6.5 hours later.
Anyway, yes, it has an automatic transmission. There's nothing I can do about it. It's the tester. Let's focus on the drive and the experience. Get the manual. Don't buy this automatic. It's mediocre at best, and let's move on. Yeah, from an experience standpoint, I mean, this thing, it's just unparalleled. I mean, okay, look, But someone might say, what about the Mazda Miata? Okay, what about the Mazda Miata? You would get something similar out of a Mazda Miata. And I would counter with two things. First of all, some trims of the Miata, especially kind of the club sport trim and stuff that are dedicated to driving, are more expensive than this car. Also, you might notice that I fit in this car like a human being, and I'm 6'6", and that makes me so happy. All right, I'm on sort of handling road version 2.0. This is the one I take more sporty cars on, like the Supra and the Corvette. And this thing going through the woods here is just slicing and dicing this road to pieces because it's not super big. I have all the room in the world to go through these sweeping corners. I mean, this, oh my God. And you have to just feel it, the brakes, the gas pedal, it just, oh, that bump was a little harsh, but I don't care though. It's so fun. And it's carrying so much speed down this road. Legal speed, obviously. Legal speed, whatever the speed limit is. And it doesn't even break a sweat. Oh man, that section is good. This thing is so fun and so joyous. I've just had a smile on my face every time I get behind the wheel of this car. I just love that this thing exists. It makes the world a better place that this car exists. Oh man, it opens up that exhaust. I mean, at least the transmission's trying to hold gears. Like, whatever, man. I could put it in manual mode, but I gotta talk to you guys. Now, what about that throttle response and brake pedal feel? Excellent. The throttle feels like a surgical instrument, which is important because you don't have a lot of power on tap. The brake pedal is stellar. This is like the best Toyota badge product that I've ever stepped on the brake pedal. It's nice and firm and progressive, and you can come to an absolutely perfectly smooth stop. No uncertainty, no grabbiness. I did hear that on track the brakes will fade a little bit, but we're not on a track, we're on a public road going the speed limit, so I have not experienced any of that. Oh man, this thing stays connected even under these rough spots. There you go. Oh, I like that. The automatic tried to blip the throttle right there on the down. Oh my God, good for you, automatic. Thanks for trying. Oh, this thing is, oh my gosh. Here's the thing about this car. I want to go back and I want to do that road again and again and again. And just for context, that stretch back there is like maybe 1 mile. I mean, maybe it's probably like 3/4 of a mile. And I just want to go to that roundabout and go back and do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, like it's some kind of 1/11th scale Tail of the Dragon. And if you don't know what the Tail of the Dragon is, it's a fantastic driving road. Also, if you don't know what the Tail of the Dragon is, you've stumbled across the wrong review and you should take yourself elsewhere. All right, let me talk about this interior real quick before we wrap up. I've already praised, these seats are great. These seats are great. They are not quite as transcendent, heavenly, Valhalla otherworldly as the Civic Type R. Those are still probably my favorite seats of all time, but they are stupendous for a car that costs just over $30,000 and for someone as tall as me. Also, the pedal box. I know this is an automatic, which sucks, but the pedal box it feels huge. I have size 14 feet and I feel like I could operate 2 manual transmissions down there. It is gigantic. I don't know how they did that, but it is enormous. I wish the wheel came out just a little bit further for the seat being all the way back, but I have plenty of legroom. And then check this out, look how much headroom I have in this car. I could easily be wearing a helmet right now and doing a track day. The interior materials are decent, the kind of fake suede, you know, Alcantara, like on the seats and the door panels. The plastics feel pretty good. It's really tight in here. I haven't heard any rattling or creaking like the Mercedes GLS I had. And overall, it's really nice. My only complaint is I think the gauge cluster is like kind of dull. You know, here's some shots of it. It's got a nice central tack, but it's not super big. You can configure it around and put it into a track mode so it just has a bar graph tack, which is kind of cool and all that, but it's just not very special. It's just kind of plain. The infotainment is also pretty blah. It's totally fine and fully featured, but like, it's just kind of blah. There's nothing really to write home about there. So, you know, that would be kind of my only real complaint, I guess, but like, other than that, it's totally fine in here. Engine note sounds kind of It's kind of nasally and industrial sounding or something. I don't mind it at all, actually. I think it sounds kind of cool. Oh man, it's so fun. It's so fun. Okay, so my channel, I always say I'm an enthusiast dad, right? And what does that mean? It means that I love cars and I love motorcycles, but I also have a family and kids and I have practical considerations. So let me ask you guys a question, or maybe you're interested in asking me a question. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, from an enthusiast dad perspective, can you own this car? Yes, but here's my advice. If your kids are getting older like mine are, so Ella's 16 and Hallie is 12, and Ella is actually this coming week getting her license, I would say yes. For me, and I was in a budget of around, 30 grand, and I wanted a car that was useful. This thing's got a good trunk. Check out the trunk space. This thing's got a useful trunk. I got the back seat to stack things. I have plenty of space inside. I would probably buy this. I probably would buy this because it is an absolute riot to drive. I love it a little bit more than the Veloster N because I really like the Veloster N, but I like this more. I like the traditional rear-wheel drive handling layout. So I would probably take this because if I had to drive Hallie somewhere, there's plenty of room. I could put her volleyball stuff in the back. The trunk is fine for that. I don't need a hatchback anymore. If I had younger kids, and I wanted the speed, I'd probably take the Veloster N. If I wanted the practicality and save a few grand, I'd probably take the Civic Si HPT, high performance tire. That would be my advice. So if your kids are getting older and you don't necessarily need that space, or you have a new driver or something, then this is the way to go, man. And I know that it's kind of a young person's car or whatever, and God knows I got a lot of looks in this thing. There's not many of them around here, and it gets a lot of attention. I think some people actually were wondering what it was. I drove by a guy in a Porsche, and he was just like looking at it like, what is this small, cool little car that I've missed out on? I'm like, bro, it's a freaking Scion FR-S. I know, Toyota, it's a GR86, but I'm gonna go down this road again. Because why not? Hold that gear, baby, hold that gear. It's fine. In the woods. Oh no, family SUV up ahead. He probably thinks I'm the worst person ever, especially because he's going under the speed limit. Oh, he's like literally going under the speed limit. Literally going, I don't want to say what the speed limit is, but he's going under it. Well, on that note, let's wrap up. Should you buy a Toyota GR86? Yeah, buy like 3. Buy 1 to drive, 1 to tune, and then 1 for a gift and give it to somebody. This car is an absolute blast. I have had a fantastic time this week driving it around. I would love to take one of these on a track and just sort of learn from it, learn along with it, learn together, everybody learn. Yeah. I mean, it's just awesome. So if you like this video, please consider liking, please consider subscribing, please consider sharing it with anyone who might be interested in buying a Toyota GR86. And until next time, as always, ride safe, definitely drive safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Wonder if I can do this all in one turn in this tiny little car. Oh my God, can I do all this in one turn? Oh, it wasn't even close. I easily did it in one turn. Oh, score another one for the GR86. Oh, there goes a Mini. I bet he could dice with me, but this is better.